Is this what remote freelance working looks like? I started my workday at 8 a.m. this morning, and I'm still sitting here on my laptop in candlelight in British summertime. Now you're probably wondering why that is. So let me get into the point of this video and I'll explain more. My first video on this channel explained a little bit about why I decided to leap into freelancing, and partly it was because I wanted more freedom to do better work and to get more fulfillment out of that work. It's also why I created the Remote Workers Journal, to do something that I'm passionate about and put my best efforts into that. Now, I didn't realize that freedom meant that I'd be sitting here working at late hours of the day, and I think there is a valid reason for that. Now, I'm not someone that can always work flat out, and I can't always focus as much as other people seem to be able to focus. So I've had to kind of go into this sort of self-discovery mode and figure out what exactly it is that helps me to do my best work. And a lot of this comes down to time management and planning. And I've done a lot of that in employed work, but it's completely different when you're working freelance. You're having to pick your own projects and manage your own time alongside that. And there's other factors that get in the way as well. So in this sort of effort to discover what helps me do my best work, I've kind of picked out some of the key variables that help me get on with things and get my head into a project and do some deep work. So here they are. So on a good day of work, I definitely notice a few different things. And the first one that I've picked out here is that I don't juggle tasks. And this happens on particular days where I'm feeling at my best. And I'll come on to another point about that in a moment. But when I'm feeling my best, I'm able to focus on a specific task, get deeper into that task, and forget about all the other things that are on my to-do list. I've also noticed that working from home, you often think about some of the personal things, or the little niggly things that you need to get done at some point. And it's difficult particularly in freelance, when you're managing your own day, you think to yourself, oh, I could just do that at that time or do that at that time. And you kind of mold your calendar around both work and personal. Now, for me, I don't particularly want to have two calendars, so it's really difficult for me to combine those while also making sure that I get done the things that I want to do for work. Now, if you can block out time in your calendar for all the personal things that you need to get done, like painting that bit of wall or sorting out the paint stripping on the wall, which I'm not going to do anyway, but just to give you kind of examples of the little niggly things that come along. All these things end up on a list, and if you don't tick them off, they're always going to play on your mind. But what I'm trying to say is that if you block out time for those things, then they won't necessarily bleed into your work, and you can kind of mold your time around that. Protect some time for personal, protect some time for work, and I actually do have a little grey area in between. Now, the second thing that I've noticed when I get to the end of a day and I feel fulfilled is that I haven't had too much booked in. Now, I'll go on to meetings in a minute, but generally I just give myself far too little time to actually get a task done. So be realistic about the time you're giving yourself for a project. I always overestimate when it comes to anything in freelancing. You overestimate on the time that you need to make sure that you can produce that quality work. Now, when it comes to meetings, I always find that generally meetings are about half an hour with most people, sometimes 15 minutes if people are really efficient. But I often find I anticipate the meeting, and I also get distracted by the contents of that meeting afterwards. So one thing I'm actually going to implement now is I'm going to be putting in specific time slots to research or plan for a meeting, say, I don't know, 30 minutes beforehand, just to kind of get myself into that mindset. And then some short time afterwards to effectively write some meeting notes or write some kind of closing notes, just to kind of take your mind off the meeting. Because once you have that thought in your head, there's no way you're going to get your best work done after that. Now, the next thing, and this one is inevitable, and it's distractions, external distractions. It could be people outside the window, it could be someone in a house, it could be building work going on next door. You're always going to get some form of noise or something like that, or a visual distraction. Now, I'm the worst for this. I find it really difficult to actually concentrate when things are going on. And one of the godsends for me has been noise cancelling headphones. I actually bought these recently. My other ones were dying. I had some basic AirPods that didn't even have noise cancelling on them. So first time using noise cancelling, and even just being at home on my own and understanding that there's things going on outside, I always put those in if I need to focus properly. It just blocks out the world, puts you in this mental cubicle, and you can just focus on the work you're doing. Another point, particularly for longer projects or much larger pieces of work, is the amount of content that I consume. Now, I'm not going to go into the rant about social media because that's not quite what I'm talking about, but reading is very important, particularly when you're trying to keep up with your industry or trying to carry on learning and get more ideas. I always find that when I'm lacking in information and ideas, 9 times out of 10 I haven't been keeping up with reading, such as the news or other content online in my specific area. So the fact that you're struggling to get on with your work could be a sign that you haven't been doing enough research in that particular area. And my final point is that just some days don't go to plan. And it could be because of one of the factors I've mentioned, or it could be you're not feeling healthy, you're not feeling fit. Any other distraction or need that comes along might just get in the way of that, and that's fine. And that's the inspiration for this video. I'm sitting here at gone 9 p.m. because I couldn't quite concentrate in the morning, so I used that time differently, and then I allocated that time to the evening, where I just knew that at some point in the day I was going to get more energy and I was going to get more focused. So that is why I ended up doing that. I guess you could kind of summarize that into kind of 3 main points. And the first one being, just don't stress about how your day has gone. Now, the reason we want to work remotely is because we want flexibility. So whether we need to shuffle around our personal and professional commitments is entirely up to us, and we can do that. So if you end up working in the evening but doing more with your family or friends during the day, that's absolutely fine. The second thing is obviously making sure you have enough time for each task, and that whether that be meetings and planning ahead, making sure you can wind up and wind down for specific things. And the final one is just, if you're stuck in any way, you can't quite figure out how to complete a task, or you just feel like you're not in the right mindset, find something else to do. Read something else, read something new, consume more, and that will help you to push forward in that. I hope that was helpful and you can take some of these points away and implement them in your own workday. I'm pretty new here, so if you could like that button down below, hit subscribe, and you'll catch up on all the new content that's coming up. If you want to watch some of my previous videos, I've got a few out at the moment, just click that link up there, and I'll catch you next time.